Around 6:45, we got word from someone very close to McCarthy. He had made the momentous decision. He's done with leadership. He'll just be a member in Congress now, and he's glad to let someone else take the gavel and try to push through the rest of the agenda that his team started at the beginning of the year. But the end of an era, and he just had a little gaggle with reporters outside in the Capitol, and he sounded like a guy reflecting on his career, ready to put this chapter behind him. Yeah, and he doesn't seem to have any more belly for being in leadership.
Any word on him sticking out in Congress? I mean, you know, it's got to be somewhat embarrassing for him. He said he will.
Yeah. He says for the time being he will. He wants to play a role to try to help the caucus get through whatever they got to still get through. I wouldn't be surprised after this election he steps down and goes into the private sector because he's the first speaker in the history of the country to be fired on the job by vote.
You know, John, one of the reasons why I think you and I make such a great team. You are so good at digging into the details, the nitty gritty. I'm just an old-fashioned street fighter, right? It was so easy for McCarthy. All he needed to do was live up to some very simple promises, the single-issue spending bills, the 12 appropriate. You could have brought them up, and even if they failed, you could have said, hey, I did it. Subpoena Hunter Biden, let him take the Fifth Amendment. His job would have been saved, and it was that simple, John.
It was. Listen, if you're going to make a promise saying you're restoring regular order to the budget, you better do it, not just to your caucus, but to the American people. And, one of the most compelling arguments that Matt Gaetz is able to make is he didn't do what we promised as a party we were going to do. And we said no more CRs, and we did a CR. So that is a truism. And I think it was the moment of fate. I think his destiny was sealed back in May when he made the deal with Joe Biden without really taking the temperature of his caucus. And then from that, knowing that he had a lot of liability from that, not getting those 12 spending bills through in an orderly way between May and September, there's plenty of time to do it. They didn't. And the whole promise that the Republicans made to get the job fell by the wayside. And it gave people like Matt Gaetz the opportunity to take them out. And that they did today.